Still on the infrastructure then, Mr. Alimi, still on infrastructure. What should we have done in 2013 that we have left undone that this government will need to address in 2014?
Well, I'll just take it from where you were actually hammering on, and that is the budget.
Yes.
I remember when the budget was released earlier in the year, the LCCI commented and lamented that again we did what we usually do. We are spending so much on recurrent expenditure and living for a country that needs development, that needs a real big boost in its infrastructure. We are spending so low on capital expenditure. And I think the trend again, if I'm looking at what the finance minister, it's still the same this year.
Isn't it worse?
It's even worse. But the worst part of it is the fact that even that small appropriation, which we regard as too low, it's not implemented to the latter. You have a situation where the budget is about 35%. You remember there was a problem when the Senate and the National Assembly generally were complaining about budget implementation. When I think we were going to the third quarter of the year and talking about 35% implementation. And then there was the case of whether the country was broke, whether we cannot afford to back our intentions with money. That's another it's another thing, and that has adversely affected the implementation of what most of the capital expenditure that was supposed to be implemented. And I think for a country that needs so much in that area, and we've budgeted so low, and even what is budgeted is only achieved 35%. Well, that's like a fail mark. If you do an exam, right? That's like a fail mark. So we've not done so much, and it's quite regrettable. Unfortunately, what happened is that there is a carryover of this failure. We've had it to 2005, carried over to 2013, and unfortunately, we may be carrying it again to 2014.
You are in commerce and industry, yes. And when people talk about ghost workers, and you look at the volume or the numbers that, especially in the public sector, you look at those numbers and you begin to wonder, small surprise, or one should not be surprised, why we have 70% of our money going into recurrent. What would you be advising government to say? 2013 has come and gone. In 2014, when you're looking at the recurrent, this is the area that you have to fight serious battle to reduce recurrent.
Yes, we have maintained over the years that the cost of governance is too high. We have maintained that over the years, that the cost of governance is too high in Nigeria.
But nobody's listening to you, right?
Well, there doesn't seem to be a conscious effort to reduce it. There's only a cosmetic effort. I mean, somebody saying, okay, we reduce our basic salary by 30%, 35%. You and I know the problem is not the basic salary. If I am a minister today, we have a minister of state, the minister will have, I'm not talking about the civil servants now, I'm not talking about the professionals now, we're even talking about the politicians
around them.
Exactly. The minister will have special assistants, special advisors and everything, and it goes down that way. At the end of the day, the man is spending so much money on, but you see, on
security details.
Exactly. On paper, there's nothing to say this is what the minister must have. There's no policy that says this is what the minister must have. So it's going to be at the discretion. And of course, also the political thing is there, jobs for the boys. So if the government is served, starting from the top, you can say, okay, this is the policy. A minister can only have this. And then also the idea that there must be one minister from one state of the federation to also have his own. So at the end of the day, you are going to have at least 36 ministers
times two.
And if it happens that we again create more state, like somewhere that people are clamoring, we are going to have more than 36. So we have to look for portfolios for them. That is the cost
and
of
look for more money.
That is what it means. We have to keep them, because the truth of the matter is, my people in Yoruba land have a proverb that if you give a madman a hoe, he will bring the soil to his side. So which means if you have to decide, if you have 1 naira and you have an expense of 5 naira, it's most likely that the people will first decide which one comes to their side first. Here you are.
Okay,
So,
now going back to where we started then, in terms of monetary policy by the CBN, fiscal policy by the federal government, in terms of that fiscal policy, the central bank has consistently said it is delivering on its mandate in terms of managing the monetary policy and making sure that it's done well. Now, the fiscal side of it, the creation of jobs, has the government done anything this year commendable?
well, it's difficult to say government has not done anything.
That's why I use the word commendable.
I think I will also be very diplomatic by using this word. It could be better.
Okay.
It could be better. It could be better. And I still think government's attempt to directly create jobs may not be the answer to the problem.
But
Let government provide an enabling environment for business to run very well. Let me give you an example. A company is established to produce 1 million units of an item in a day. The capacity on ground is not for that. This company, because of infrastructural problem, because of energy problem and everything, is only producing 10,000.
Oh my God.
Then solve the problem of that company, and then the company is able to increase its productivity to 50%, and it's producing 500,000. It's going to need more staff. Whether you like it, it's going to need more staff. It's going to produce more. It's going to be more competitive, and its price is going to come down. The unit price is going to come down. People will be able to afford more, buy more, and then more money will come into the purse of the company. And because it's also employing more people, for one person that is employed, you and I know 2 or 3 other people are attached. Because it's able to employ more people, there is a way you create more jobs. People have enough money on them also to also start some 1 or 2 cottage organizations, cottage companies and everything. So that is how we can go. But for government to say, okay, we are going to buy, we have in some state where people buy motorcycles, people buy sewing machines. This play politics with the life of the average Nigerian. That's what they do. So it just come in December, just like somebody comes and distribute rice and groundnut oil for people and think that is the way to better their living. So government itself must address the issue. I know it's not, to be candid, I know it's not easy. But then there must be a conscious effort, and we must see that, and then we can be sure that okay, this much was done in 2013. In 2014, if another effort is made, we'll be able to do this much. But unfortunately, I must confess, we are not so confident.
Okay, and Mr. Nameje, in closing, your final word, what should we be hoping will happen, or as the other guest who were here earlier said, what should we be praying will happen in 2014?
Yes, 2014, just like we started, is full of hope, just like we had it in the previous years. But I know we are going to have some serious challenges this year, definitely, especially for the central bank
very ominous.
and monetary policy too. One, this election year is coming. More money will be pumped into the system, so there must be strong monetary policy to control the inflation rate.
And the implication is reducing inflation, increasing interest rates.
These are all problems we are going to have. Okay, the year coming, the dwindling rate of the price of crude in the international market is going to impact on us also. It's a big challenge. These are things that we are going to look at. If there are, actually the issue is to make sure we have infrastructure, for example. I'm so happy with the issue of energy, hoping that we are going to get something out of it.
Can anybody be happy with the situation?
No,
Not the situation that has happened.
no, they've just
Okay, so we are
hoping that next year they will actually come on board and we'll see the effect. But as a matter of fact, for Nigerians, we have actually to get prepared and work harder. If there's energy, we are very hardworking people. People can always, just like you pointed out, take their fate and work seriously to make sure they survive.
Okay.
And again, the culture of impunity, which he alluded to sometime, is very, very disturbing in our system. I think we need to actually work on ourselves at our individual level, because Jonathan definitely cannot do everything. when I was coming in the morning, one vehicle parked at the middle of the road, not minding what happened. And nobody is talking to him. These are some of the things that we are facing in this economy, which we must actually work on ourselves to make sure we improve the system.
I guess for that one, a level of ignorance it comes to play in that one. So there's some amount of education required. So in your final word?
Yes, we are going into 2014. We are moving closer to an election year. For the CBN, like he said, we also have the fear that the CBN governor said it's not seeking a second term. It's leaving. Are we going to have...
His term ends in 2014.
Yes, yes, it's going to end in June. I mean, it's also... We have 6 months left after it goes. Are we going to do the darling, bringing another person in, and you know the political thing that goes into this thing? We are also wishing that we diversify the economy more. So much has been done in agriculture, but we're asking government to bring in the small farmers too. The people in charge of those policies, those wonderful policies we're talking about, which I think I listened to this program earlier, and somebody said it's not actually affecting the price of foodstuff. Maybe if these policies can also address the subsistence farmers, the small farmers, I mean, there are about 90% of the farmers we have in this country. Maybe that will also go into improving our lot. We can diversify the economy more. Then, thirdly, we also want to appeal to all the agencies involved in elections, the INEC, the security agents, the law enforcement, and the judiciary. They need to live above board as we are approaching another election here, because that will also go a long way in deciding our fate moving forward. All right, Mr. Dele Alimi, Director, Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and Mr. Alex Anameje, Member, Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria. Thank you very much for coming on Sunrise this morning.